What's up, y'all? I'm JD and welcome back to the Dimensions Woodworks Woodshop. Today we got a really special project for the Instagram Builders Challenge Season 6, a desk designed by Sam over at the DIY Huntress. Check it out. So for my desk, I decided to start with this local sweet gum slab. For the first step, I used a draw knife to remove the majority of the bark while leaving the live edge intact. The next step was to get the top of the slab flattened, so I used my router sled and began to make passes back and forth to achieve a flat and level surface. This slab was too long to flatten all in one pass, so I had to go perpendicular to my bench and do one half of the slab, then flip it around and do the other half. Then I just made a few passes with my hand plane to remove some of those mill marks. Then I wanted to give myself some sort of a reference for square. Because the live edges are not straight, it's difficult to determine where square is, so I popped these chalk lines to give me that reference to make the cuts along the ends. After using the leveling jig on the top, the slab had a little bit of a twist in it, so I just used a hand plane and knocked down the high spots. Then it was on to the material for my legs. This was a piece of 12 quarter pecan that had a bad twist in it, so I began with the power plane and tried to remove the bulk of the material, then came back with the hand plane later and really dialed it in. Then I took it over to the bandsaw and knocked off both the live edges, leaving me with a square board. Then it was off to the joiner to ensure that I had a perfectly square face for reference for the table saw fence to knock down the leg pieces into their rough size. Now that the leg pieces were cut out, I could begin the layout for the joinery method that I chose. I decided to go with bridle joints to assemble the base with, and since I had never used bridle joints, I was a little bit apprehensive. But I just created this little jig, which is basically just a modified version of a tenoning jig that allowed me to cut those angled bridle joints at the base. Then it was on to a little fine tuning with the chisels. I would remove a small amount of material, then do a test fit and see where I was. Then remove a little bit more material and so on until I got a perfect fit. Then it was time to cut the recesses that would accept the stretchers at the top of the base. I designed this base with 2 stretchers running along the top and then 1 stretcher across the back just to prevent any kind of racking issues that I may have. After getting everything dialed in just right with the chisels, I did a little dry assembly, and once that looked good, I began to glue the pieces into place. And on this project, you'll notice that I left those top stretchers about 3/4 of an inch proud of the top. I'm going to try a new assembly method from bases to tops, which would work just as well on a table. And here you see me making my layout lines so that I can cut the dados into the top that those stretchers will fit into. This should allow for seasonal wood movement, especially here in a very humid climate. And to be quite honest, since I had never seen anyone join a base to a top like this, I was really concerned about stability, so I decided to test it. No wobbles. Good deal. Now it was on to this rough piece of pecan I had that I wanted to utilize to make my drawer pieces. Similar process to the legs, I just popped a straight line, took the live edges off, and started with a somewhat square board, then made sure that that board was truly square and began to lay out my drawer parts. And since I don't have the resaw capacity on my bandsaw, I had to do the resawing for these drawer parts on the table saw. Now it was time to start cutting the dados in the drawer front that would accept the sides and bottom drawer pieces. I cut a dado on the inside of the drawer sides, then also cut a dado on the outside of those drawer sides that would accept my wooden strip that would become my drawer runner. I really like using maple when making wooden drawer slides because it seems to slide really well and it kind of exudes a natural oil over time. Then I used a doweling jig to attach the drawer runners to the base. The drawer runners are cut with a dado exactly opposite of the drawer slides to ensure that the drawer slides smoothly. And then if everything lines up correctly, you should get a smooth sliding drawer. There it goes. Then just a little bit of finish sanding in preparation for the hand rubbed Danish oil that I finished the project with. I really loved all the character in these pieces of pecan that just seemed to jump out after the Danish oil was applied. The inside of the drawer just turned out beautifully. I really have gotten away from using film finishes now in most of my pieces. I love these hand rubbed oils and the way they just really bring out the natural grain in the wood. In this piece of sweet gum, it just really accentuated that spalting. Look at that. It's beautiful. Then I took it inside for its final assembly. Everything fits, and I put the computer on it. Looks pretty good. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and you can subscribe right here, or you could check out some of our other videos you may be interested in here. And until next time, remember to get better every day.